So Donald Trump's decision to throw war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu under the bus over the Houthi issue wasn't in isolation. It seems Trump has decided to be loyal to only Trump himself and pursue his policies without bothering about what Netanyahu or Israel thinks of him. The latest example is the dramatic development that has caused a political earthquake in the settler colony built on the stolen land of the Palestinians. Trump's Defense Secretary Peter Hegseth, a known and self proclaimed Zionist, was scheduled to travel to Israel on 12th of May. Now he has reportedly cancelled his trip. Now this is big, and I'll explain why in a bit. According to earlier reports, Hegseth was set to arrive in Israel on 12th of May to meet Netanyahu and his defense minister. A day later, which is 13th of May, is when Trump is arriving in the Middle East for his first big trip to the region. Hegseth was to join Trump after his Israel trip. But now, Hegseth is believed to have cancelled his Israel trip altogether and accompanied Trump on his Middle East trip. During his trip, Trump will visit Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE. A few months ago, Trump was hoping that Saudi Arabia will normalize its relations with Israel. But Saudi has made it abundantly clear that there is absolutely no question of normalizing relations with Israel without a firm roadmap for an independent statehood of Palestine.
ولن تتوقف المملكة عن عملها الدؤوب في سبيل قيام دولة فلسطينية مستقلة وعاصمتها القدس الشرقية، ونؤكد أن المملكة لن تقيم علاقات دبلوماسية مع إسرائيل دون ذلك.
With Israeli terrorists forcing Palestinians to starve to death, Saudis have reportedly told Trump that they have no desire to even discuss the idea of normalizing relations with Israel, let alone moving in that direction. There are indications that something has happened between Trump and Netanyahu in the last few weeks. If you remember, Trump had told reporters a couple of weeks ago that he was concerned by the situation in Gaza and he was going to solve it. But it seems war criminal Netanyahu was in no mood to resume the supply of food, water, and medicine to Palestinians in Gaza, even if it meant their imminent deaths due to starvation. Trump had displayed his concern for the Gazans to a reporter on 25th of April on board Air Force One.
Medicine coming into Gaza. When you spoke to Mr. Netanyahu the other day, did that come up at all about access to humanitarian aid coming into Israel?
No, Gaza came up, and I said, we've got to be good to Gaza. Those people are suffering. We've got to be good to Gaza. We're going to take care of them. There's a very big need for medicine, food and medicine, and we're taking care of it.
In terms of like opening up more access points?
Pushing people very hard.
Pushing the Israelis?
We are.
Pushing open up more access
Very hard to get food and medicine into Gaza.
How did the Prime Minister respond to that?
Well,
on 4th of May, Houthis fired a supersonic missile and caused significant damage right in the vicinity of the Ben Gurion airport. There was absolutely no condemnation from Trump or his administration. In fact, a day later, Trump announced that he was stopping the bombing in Yemen.
On the Houthis, can you tell us a bit more about the deal that you've reached with the Houthis that you
No,
mentioned?
it's not a deal. They've said, please don't bomb us anymore, and we're not going to attack your ships.
And where did you hear about that?
It doesn't matter where I hear it. The very good source, I can tell you. Very, very good source. Would you say, Marco? I would say pretty good, right, JD? A very good source.
As reported by this channel, Janta Ka Reporter, this was after the Trump administration requested the Sultanate of Oman to play the role of a mediator to convince Houthis for a ceasefire whereby they don't target the US ships in the Red Sea. In exchange, US too would stop bombing the Houthis, adding that the US wouldn't have any problem with the Houthis carrying out their campaign against Israel in solidarity with Gaza. Trump and State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce were asked about this and see how both reacted.
The Houthis are backing down. We're seeing conflicting reports that they plan on continuing to attack Israel in support of Gaza. Does that change the equation?
No, I don't know about that, frankly, but I know one thing: they want nothing to do with us, and they've let that be known through all of their surrogates, and very strongly.
But Houthis are saying that the Israeli ships are not part of any deal.
Oh.
Can you confirm
Well,
or deny?
I have no comment on that.
Both of them refused to refute the Houthis' claims. They could have simply reiterated their support for Israel, but they chose not to. This was quite telling. What was even more shocking was that Netanyahu was kept in the dark about Trump's unilateral deal with the Houthis. This, according to many, shocked the rogue regime of Israel further. Michael Wahid Hana is the director of the US program at International Crisis Group. He told the Middle East Eye, and I quote, "At this stage, it's clear Trump will take some big decisions unilaterally without significant consideration of Israeli interests when he wants to, like Iran or Yemen." End quote. If you remember, Netanyahu was hell-bent on military strikes targeting Iranian nuclear facilities. But instead, Trump chose to start peace talks with Tehran. Both sides have already held several rounds of talks, with the next round being scheduled for this Sunday. What is also important is that Trump wouldn't be visiting Israel during his Middle East trip. Apparently, he doesn't want Israel to spoil his Middle East visit and his objective. While in Saudi, Trump is set to discuss the much-awaited nuclear deal with Saudi. But this time, he is not going to link this deal to condition of normalizing relations with Israel. And this too has upset war criminal Netanyahu. And what's more, hold your breath, because this is absolutely massive. There are also reports that Trump's new Gaza plan includes a role for Hamas. Yes, contrary to Netanyahu's claims that there will be absolutely no role for Hamas in the future. Now, if this is true, this would be a killer blow to Netanyahu regime's relationship with the Trump administration. Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, is already in the region and working on a new ceasefire deal for Gaza. Now, coming back to Hegseth cancelling his trip to Israel, this should be seen in light of his past pronouncement that he will always remain loyal to Israel.
And I want to give you a chance to respond to what they said about you. I think the first one accused you of being a Christian Zionist. I'm not really sure why that is a bad thing. I'm a Christian. I'm a Zionist. Zionism is that the Jewish people deserve a homeland in the ancient Holy Land where they've lived since the dawn of history. Do you consider yourself a Christian Zionist?
Senator, I'm a Christian, and I robustly support the state of Israel and its existential defense, and the way America comes alongside them is a great ally.
Thank you. Because another protester, and I think this one was a member of Code Pink, which, by the way, is a Chinese Communist front group these days, said that you support Israel's war in Gaza. I support Israel's existential war in Gaza. I assume, like me and President Trump, you support that war as well, don't you?
Senator, I do. I support Israel destroying and killing every last member of Hamas.
And the third protester said something about 20 years of genocide. I assume that's our wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Do you think our troops are committing genocide in Iraq and Afghanistan?
Senator, I do not. I think our troops, as you know, as so many in this committee know, did the best they could with what they had. The outcomes, and tragically, the outcome we saw in Afghanistan under the Biden administration put a stain on that, but it doesn't put a stain on what those men and women did in uniform, as you know full well, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Hegseth.
Let's hope that better sense has prevailed upon these war criminals and they allow the flow of urgent aid for the people of Gaza. I will never forgive these monsters for their ghastly crimes against humanity. But more importantly, history will never forgive them for being a willful participant in the Gaza Holocaust. That's it from me. Thank you very much for your support of this platform and our journalism on buymeacoffee.com and Patreon. If you too think that our journalism is worth supporting, then you too should consider becoming part of it. Details are there in the description of this video. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.